Beneath the cherry blossoms. In a small town nestled between misty mountains and winding rivers, lived a young woman named Hannah. She worked as a florist in her family's tiny shop, spending her days surrounded by lilies, roses, and the ever-delicate cherry blossoms that bloomed every spring. Hannah believed in the quiet beauty of love, the kind that didn't shout, but whispered in moments of kindness. Yet at 24, she had never experienced it for herself. Her world was filled with petals and perfumes, but never passion. One rainy afternoon in March, a stranger stepped into the flower shop. He was tall, with tousled black hair, raindrops clinging to his coat, and a camera slung over his shoulder. His name was Kaito, a travel photographer passing through the town to capture the cherry blossom season. "I need something that speaks of new beginnings," he said, brushing wet strands of hair from his eyes. Without a word, Hannah handed him a single branch of sakura wrapped in white paper. From that moment on, Kaito began visiting the shop every day. Sometimes he'd buy a flower, sometimes he'd bring her a photograph, quiet landscapes, a bird mid-flight, a sunlit petal on a pond. They shared coffee, laughter, and gradually, stories. He spoke of cities he'd seen, while she told him about the town's hidden trails and the legend of two lovers who planted the first cherry tree by the river. As spring deepened, so did their bond. They walked beneath pink canopies, where petals fell like snow. They watched sunsets from hills and danced in puddles after the rain. But behind Hannah's smiles was a growing ache. Kaito was only passing through, and soon, he would leave. On the last day of cherry blossom season, Kaito asked her to walk with him to the river. "This place," he said, pointing to the old tree blooming beside the water. "You once told me a story about two lovers." Hannah nodded, trying to hold back tears. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small box. Inside was a pendant, shaped like a cherry blossom, made of silver. "I don't know where the road leads next," he whispered, "but I want you to be part of it. Come with me." Tears spilled from Hannah's eyes. "But the shop, my family. They'll understand," he said. "Sometimes, love is the story we choose to write, not the one we wait for." Under the soft rain of falling petals, she kissed him for the first time. That spring, the florist left with the photographer. They traveled from town to city, capturing beauty wherever they went. And every year, no matter where they were, they returned to that little town, always in spring, to walk once more beneath the cherry blossoms. The Melody of Us. In the heart of Florence, Italy, a city known for its art, history, and timeless beauty, lived a young violinist named Elena Moretti. She performed each evening on the Ponte Vecchio Bridge, her melodies rising with the golden light of sunset. Her music drew small crowds, but she played not for fame or fortune, she played for a memory. 5 years earlier, Elena had fallen in love with a boy named Leo Bennett, an aspiring painter from London who had come to Florence to study art. Their paths crossed at a cafe near the Uffizi Gallery, where he sketched her without asking. She was furious at first, but his shy apology and kind eyes softened her. That evening turned into days, and days into weeks of exploring galleries, dancing in the rain, and whispering dreams into the night air. Leo loved Elena's music. He said her violin spoke to him more deeply than words ever could. He painted her again and again, her smile, her hands, her silhouette by the Arno River. They promised to never leave each other. But life had its own plans. Leo's mother fell ill, and he had to return to London. It will only be for a few months, he promised, kissing Elena's forehead before boarding the train. Wait for me. She waited. Letters came and then stopped. Elena never knew why. Now, 5 years later, Elena still played the same melody he loved, the one she composed for him on their last day together. Tourists passed by, some dropping coins, some taking photos. But none noticed the silent ache in her eyes. Then one evening, just as the last note of her song faded into the summer air, someone clapped, softly, but with certainty. Elena turned, expecting another tourist. Instead, it was him. Leo stood there, older, his hair longer, his clothes dusted with paint. In his hands, he held a canvas wrapped in brown paper. She couldn't speak. Neither could he. But his eyes were full of words. I came back, he whispered. I wrote. I called. I even came once, but they told me you had moved. I searched Florence for months. And I never stopped painting you. He unwrapped the canvas. It was her, just as she looked that day 5 years ago, standing on the bridge with her violin and hope in her eyes. Tears welled in Elena's eyes. I thought I lost you. You didn't, he said. You're the only thing I never let go of. That night, under a sky full of stars and the glow of old lanterns, Leo knelt and said, "Will you let me stay this time? For good?" Elena smiled through her tears. Only if you promise to paint while I play. And so, the bridge that once held a memory now witnessed a new beginning, where music and art met again, where love returned not in fireworks but in the gentle embrace of souls who had always belonged together.